All right, let's get right into it. We all think we know the deal with sugar, right? It's the bad guy for our belly fat. But what we're going to talk about today is so much uglier. We're talking about how that innocent looking cookie is basically setting you up to break, literally.
Yeah, let me just ask you straight up. Think about all the energy we pour into worrying about calories, gaining a few pounds. But what if the biggest threat from sugar isn't about your weight at all? What if it's something way, way worse?
When it makes you snap. And I'm not being dramatic here. We are talking about your body's actual structure, your bones, your tendons, becoming so brittle, so fragile that they are just waiting for the chance to break.
So you're probably thinking, how on earth is that even possible? Well, this isn't just some crazy theory to scare you. There is real science behind this. It all comes down to a process. Think of it like your insides are slowly caramelizing.
Okay, so let's name the bad guy here. It's these things called Advanced Glycation End Products, which is a mouthful, so we just call them AGEs. And the best way to picture this, think about toasting a marshmallow, right? The sugar hits the heat, it combines with the protein, and it gets brown, stiff, kind of crunchy. Well, believe it or not, that exact same process, it's called glycation, is happening inside you when you've got too much sugar.
And guess what gets hit first? Your bones. The research is totally solid on this one. If your blood sugar is constantly high, that's hyperglycemia, it is directly linked to weaker bones, osteoporosis, and yeah, more fractures. There's an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kumoi, who's been studying this stuff, and he sees it every single day. People coming in with snapped tendons and fractures that they shouldn't be happening. It's because their internal framework has been turned into glass.
So let's get nerdy for just a second. Here's what's actually going on. These AGEs, they attack your collagen. Now, collagen is the stuff that's supposed to make you flexible, like a strong, stretchy rope. But the AGEs act like superglue, sticking all those collagen fibers together. So that strong rope, it turns into a dry, brittle twig, just waiting to snap.
Okay. I can hear you now. You're thinking, fine, I'll just skip the donuts and the soda, problem solved. But not so fast. Because it turns out a massive source of these nasty AGEs has less to do with what you're eating and everything to do with how you're cooking it.
Yeah, check this out. It's right there in the research. When you take proteins and fats and you cook them at super high temperatures, you are literally creating these AGEs on your food. So think about frying, grilling, broiling, all that delicious char. You're basically serving yourself a plate of AGEs before they even get a chance to form inside your body. So let's just make this super simple. You're getting hit from two different directions. First, you've got the internal job. Too much sugar in your blood and your body starts making its own AGEs. Then you've got the external attack. You're eating them directly when you eat things cooked at high heat. We're talking French fries, fried chicken, even that nice dark crust on bread. And here's a perfect visual of that. On one side, you've got the stuff we all know about, the straight-up sugar. But look at the other side. That's the sneaky stuff. The processed foods, the fried chicken. You know that golden brown, crispy texture that we all crave? Well, that's pretty much a visual warning sign. It's screaming, I am loaded with AGEs that are gonna mess you up.
Okay, deep breaths. That was a lot of doom and gloom, I know. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. You can absolutely fight back against this. You are not just a victim here. So let's get into the playbook. Let's talk about the hacks you can use to protect yourself starting right now. And honestly, the game plan is surprisingly simple. It's all about making smart swaps. So instead of high-heat frying, you go for low-temp steaming or poaching. Instead of grabbing processed packaged stuff, you reach for whole, fresh foods. You swap out all those added sugars for foods that are packed with fiber. It's literally just choosing the anti-brittle option every time. All right, let's get even more specific. Here are 4 things you can do. Number 1, go for lean proteins. I'm talking cold water fish like salmon, or even better, legumes. 2, push the white, sugary carbs off your plate and pile on the colorful veggies instead. 3, when you cook, use liquid plant oils, not the solid animal fats. And 4, get some good nuts in there, like walnuts or hazelnuts. They are loaded with good stuff. Now, all those little steps are fantastic. They really are. But what if you didn't have to piece it all together yourself? What if there was a complete system, a whole plan, that's already designed to use your food like medicine to reverse all this damage? Well, here you go. This is it. It's called the Cardio-Metabolic Food Plan. And I want to be clear, this is not just another fad diet.
This is a whole system built to restore balance to your body and, more importantly, to go to war against those AGEs we've been talking about.
And just look at its core principles right there. Balances blood sugar, low glycemic impact, low and simple sugars. Every single one of those is a direct shot at the internal problem. This thing is specifically engineered to stop that internal caramelization process dead in its tracks.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with. Every single meal you eat is literally building the body you're going to have tomorrow. There's no in between. You're either building something strong and flexible or something brittle and weak. So the question is, what are you building with? Look, we've barely just scratched the surface here today. If you want the full breakdown of this core food plan, and trust me, you do, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a whole deep dive on it in a future explainer, and you are not going to want to miss that.